A few weeks ago, Klarity Kosmetics outlined that they were coming out with something new that was mermaid themed, and they were being very naughty and giving us like these black and white photos. And I will say, I was initially like, oh, what are we going to do here? Because they'd had like their Oasis palette, which was all blue. They've had quite a few like dark toned palettes recently. So I thought, oh, are you going to end up duping yourself? What's the story here? So I was a little bit like, oh, anxious, but I have to say, I think these are quite interesting. They are kind of reconceptualizations in some instances of previous palettes that they have and I do own. So I'm quite excited about that. But I have to say that these photos, by the way, were captured by Deandra Nicole. If you don't know, I adore Deandra. She does just the most amazing pictures. I love that when I see these pictures, I know that they're hers, right? Without ever seeing her tagged, I'm like, that's Deandra stuff. And I'm wondering if there's like a working relationship now that's happening between Klarity and Deandra, because Klarity have been using their photos over on like their website, in which case, well done, Klarity. Fantastic idea, because Deandra always captures these things so well. But there are 3 new palettes. Just as an FYI, I am an affiliate with them. I have a discount code, blah, 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 and I earn a commission. But let's have a little chat about these. Right now, we don't actually have any prices, but the information we do have includes a time of launch, which is 11 a.m. CST on the 14th of June. And these are all 3 of the palettes laid out. I love how particularly the top and the bottom palette are almost like the lighter and the darker one to accompany them. What I have noticed with Klarity historically is that they don't tend to do a lot of light shades. So I think that they've kind of taken that on board, and I love how these palettes kind of complement each other. I'm hoping that they might do some sort of a bundle deal, because you know me guys, I want these. The first palette that they've shown was the Mermaizing palette. Now, if you know anything about Klarity Kosmetics, you may remember that they had a palette called So Mermaizing. This bears no similarity to it. And as I said, I was very nervous when they said that they were coming out with a mermaid theme, that it was just going to be all like blues and stuff. This colour story, I think, is absolutely stunning. And obviously a shadow could look fabulous in the pan, but it may not swatch very well. But this isn't the case here. These are some fabulous swatches that Deandra has actually captured. And I particularly appreciate the fact that those pale blues and those pale purples are super, super pigmented. Now, I want to get my hands on these because, well, frankly, I collect Klarity at this point. But I want to see what these look like in lots of different lighting. So maybe a swatching sundays. And I view this as being like the complementary darker palette to this, which I just think is so, so smart. This is called the Mermaid Dreams palette. And again, it's just like a deeper shade of all the ones that we've seen. And what I particularly appreciate about this is where we had like mattes in the previous one, like we had a pale green matte, we now have a shimmery green. So I love that you could like mix and match this. And I mean, those swatches are absolutely gorgeous. I just love how this is a much more shimmery, darker version of the previous one. Do you need both? No, but I think that they'd work really, really well together. If you're, however, on a budget, have a good think about which one you might get better use out of though. And this is the final palette. And if, like me, you have been a fan of Klarity for quite some time, you may be looking at this and kind of going, this seems a little bit familiar. Yes, it's because they've renamed their original So Mermaizing palette to Return to the Sea. But they've also added 2 new shades. They also renamed the original Martini shade to Martini Cocktail. So I think that's really quite cool. And again, Deandra just captures it so, so beautifully. You can really see there one of the shades has this fantastic shift. I have the original So Mermaizing palette, so there's part of me that's like, Tracy, you really don't need this at all. But some of the shades had arrived shattered when I got it and I repressed it. And the collector in me is like, well, Teresa, wouldn't it make sense to get this? No, Teresa, it doesn't. But also, so pretty. Do you know what this kind of reminds me of ever so slightly? There's a palette by Give Me Glow Cosmetics and there's like the Vivid Rose, etc. And they have these beautiful pink green combinations. This feels like a sister to that. But I do tend to think of Klarity and Give Me Glow as being very, very similar because they have a really kind of similar aesthetic. Look at me trying to find another word for similar. My thesaurus brain is not working, it seems. But I have to say, I feel like this is just done really, really well. Do you need all three? You don't. You could choose to have one, maybe two, three, or none, whichever suits. But I do feel like this is done really well. It's not like expected. I love that they've kind of given a revamp to the original So Mermaizing. I assume they might have changed some bits around formula because Klarity have been kind of working quite a bit in the background around all of this. I love how they work together, particularly the top and the bottom palette, but they can also work in isolation. So I really appreciate that. I do want them. I do, but you guys know I love Klarity. I kind of buy a sickening amount from them, but I think I will end up getting these. And I'm hoping they might do a bundle price of all three. As I said, I don't know how much they cost at the moment. I do have an affiliate code. It's just my name, TERESA, and that'll get you a little bit of money off. And I do earn a commission. I think it's like 5% or something like that. Maybe 10%. I think it's 5%. Anyways, that doesn't matter. But let me know what you guys think. Are you interested in this? Is there one that's maybe calling out to you more than the other? I'm interested as always, so please do let me know down below.